Razi. Good
we
morning.
have Razi
Morning.
Thalib. Hi, how are you today?
Not too bad.
Razi Thalib is from a matchmaking website,
Satipa.com.
which is very interesting because New Year is coming, and I'm sure people out there, single people out there, are looking for,
Wait, so speaking about resolutions now, what is your New Year's resolution?
to lose weight, Tommy.
You look great.
Okay,
Come on,
find a
Tasya.
lover. Nah. That is his. DJ EL. Is that your resolution for 2017?
No.
So what is yours?
I think I want to try to quit smoking, but
Cigarettes, okay.
I try to. It's been like 2 years already.
Maybe you can try vaping? No?
Yeah, I think so.
A lot of options out there, but I'm pretty sure a lot of people, especially young people, are actually looking for lover, looking for a boyfriend, looking for a girlfriend. Nobody likes to be alone, okay? It's not a good feeling. And this is why Razi Thalib is here.
Yes.
You have a, what is this, an application, a website called Satipa.com?
It's an application, a matchmaking service that's private and allows you to kind of just meet new people that match what you're looking for in a long-term partner. So it's not just random meet new people, but it's meeting people who are matched to you.
And how does that work, though? See, I'm very curious.
Yeah.
It's just like in real life. So if you ask a friend to introduce you to someone that you think is compatible, that friend would look at their network and try to figure out someone, hey, I've got someone for you that I want you to get to know. Are you interested? And if you're interested and they're interested, then I'll give you both, your numbers, and then you could WhatsApp each other or meet or whatever. So we try to take that concept, but then replace the matchmaker with a computer algorithm. The benefit is we can use more factors. We could use, not just the basic demographics, but also psychographics, compatibility factors. We could use socioeconomic status, everything like that. And then the second benefit is reach. When we talk about the internet and online, we're talking about more people connected. We're talking about being able to reach people where previously you're not able to reach. So you have more options, and therefore finding someone who is compatible with you, there's more volume. So we do the filtering so that you don't have to check out everybody, but we reach out to more people, so there's a higher chance of you actually meeting someone.
You mentioned compatible, but what are the benchmark there?
I think it's right there. It's demographics, your preferences, and whether or not you fit their preferences. And then you have personality, and then you have a lot of factors we call compatibility.
But
which
you use horoscope, for example?
No, we don't. We can use your horoscope, but obviously compatibility is more important. Your sense of humor, how you approach life, your perspective, how you see the responsibilities in a household, things of that nature. We match it in, and then the final part for Jakarta and Indonesia, as a whole, socioeconomic status. It's very, very important that you meet someone that can fit into your lifestyle. Especially in Indonesia, where you get married, it's between two families. It's a lifestyle thing, so that's very important.
And when we talk about Satipa.com, can anyone actually, do you call it apply or register to be put in?
Yeah, you create an account, just like you would create an account.
So anyone can, you don't filter it?
Anyone can, but at Satipa, you get introduced, so nobody can search for your profile.
Oh,
So the machine will introduce you, hey, you guys match, and then you have a decision to make. Do I want to have a conversation with this person, or do I want to move on to the next person? So what that means is it's private. So nobody knows you're in there except the people that it introduces you to.
By the computer.
By the computer.
And about the meeting up place, where has this normally been done by the Satipa.com?
Well, are you talking offline meeting?
Yeah, offline meeting.
Oh, we don't get involved. I mean, we just make introductions, and then it's your choice to have a conversation on Satipa, which is still very safe because you don't have to exchange phone numbers, you don't have to exchange email addresses, no personal details. Just have a conversation, get to know the person, and see whether or not you click. If you click, then you exchange numbers and you take it like you would outside. You'd meet in a cafe or whatever. But up to now, the people that have gotten married, which is one of the success criteria, and has invited us to their wedding, is about 200 couples.
200 couples?
Yeah, in 2 years.
In 2 years?
Yeah.
That's quite a
These are the
big
people that
number.
actually proactively open up and say, hey, we use your service, which is not a lot of people. And then they also invited us to their wedding. So there's 200 wedding invitations at the office. This doesn't include people who decide, oh, I'm not going to tell anybody. I'm just going to get married and that's it. So
Interesting.
Wow.
So people go on matchmaking applications to actually their aim and their goal is to find a husband or a wife, not necessarily just friends. Do they use that as well? Steeper.com just to
People
find
join
more
for various
friends?
reasons. I mean, some people just want to give it a shot, just want to see what it is, what's it about. Some people actually have that, like, I need to get married and I'm going to use this to find someone to get married to. The reasons are varying, but a very key point is that online dating and online matchmaking is just a place to meet people. That's what it is. It's not that you date online. It's not that you continue to build a relationship online. It's for you to meet offline as you would in a regular situation. It's just a bigger network of people where you can start meeting new people every day. So if you're busy, like if you guys are hosts, you work every day, you're busy, but then you want to find someone, you can always use your phone to access a lot of people, and Satipa adds that value where we filter the people that we introduce you to. So you don't have to go through 100, 200, 300 profiles. You just meet one or several a day and then have a conversation.
Were there any, like, married people who just, being naughty and then try to...
I'm pretty sure there is, but let me tell you this. At Satipa, you have to answer 100 questions at
100?
the start before you even get introduced to anybody. So why would...
100?
Yeah.
They could have just lied,
Yeah.
They can, but I mean, it's a lot of work, and then you only meet a few people. This is not Facebook where you automatically have access, or Twitter where you automatically have access to a lot of people. This is a place where you kind of just wait to be introduced. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure there's quite a few that have tried, but there's a lot of disincentives. The 100 questions at the beginning is a disincentive. Once you get in, if you communicate with someone and they find out that you're married, they can report it to us and we will suspend it automatically.
Okay, so no married people allowed.
Yeah, there is
there's a rule.
There, in the agreement that you tick before you actually join, you have to state that you're single while using Satipa.
All right.
Very
So,
interesting.
based on that numbers, you said 200
Successful
success
couples.
story in terms of, got married in 2 years. So, it's not a taboo anymore for people to find someone online.
I hope not. It's 2016, almost 2017.
Almost 2017,
I think
that's
it's about
right.
time that we don't see the internet as a place of magic or a different place as every day. We should see it as a place where there's more access. Now, and as a tool. If you look at it from that perspective, then the internet brings good and bad. The same way you collect, 15,000, 20,000 people into a stadium, good things can happen, bad things can happen. If you have like a good, like you have a good reason to be there and you want to do good, you want to find good things and you act accordingly, then you're going to see a lot of good things come back to you. But a lot of people are scared because of a lot of the horror stories.
That's
but
right.
if you think about it, if I was to introduce you to someone, what's to say that person's not a psycho? It's your own common sense. It's your own ability to make sure that you don't start a first date in a quiet place, for instance. It's to make sure that on a first date with a stranger, you make sure that you tell your family or friends to check up on you at a certain time to make sure that you're okay.
You're safe.
Yeah, and make sure you meet up in a very
crowded place.
That's
right.
Very serious.
Very serious, Very, very serious question.
We'll be right back.
I have
More
a lot
with
of
Razi,
questions.
okay?
That's right.
Don't go anywhere.
Actually, I'm thinking more
You're like
towards
into it. Okay, still with Razi here. Let's talk about more about online dating.
Yes.
And I have a friend, who's really afraid. Like I mentioned earlier, is it taboo or is it not taboo? But she's one of those who actually, not interested to get involved with this type of online dating. So
maybe
how do I,
to safety concerns, perhaps.
Safety concerns.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Do you have any stories about that as well?
Well, I mean, a lot of people are scared, but even when you invest your money, if you don't take risks, you don't get much reward. I'm not saying you should take risks, but you should take calculated risks. Even if you're scared, I think this is a great way to kind of get outside of your comfort zone and start meeting new people you'd otherwise not meet. And maybe that's the reason why you haven't found someone. If you look at it, who you are is going to attract the people that are going to be close to you. So if you're not willing to take a chance to go out there and start looking and with intention, then you're going to start to meet the same people again and again.
Exactly.
You're hanging out with the same people again and again. And if you haven't found someone or they haven't found you in that setting, then you're never going to get outside of it. So my suggestion is to always build up your common sense. I mean, you have to have common sense in everyday life. Have some common sense when you try online dating, and some of that is just like have a good conversation in a very secure environment. For instance, in Satipa, you have a conversation and you remain anonymous until you exchange your phone numbers. So there is a chat application within the app that allows you to chat with new people without having to exchange your contact details, without exchanging your personal, my number, my email. Have a conversation in that setting, see whether or not, and use your common sense to identify whether or not you're compatible, whether or not this person is okay. Is this person nice?
Legit, or
yeah, I mean, if you have a long enough conversation with anybody, their true nature will appear. And even if you're not 100% sure and you go out with that person, the first date is very important. We talked about it before, where make sure it's a public place, make sure people know you're going on this date and they're going to check up on you, and make sure that you go home on your own, at the end of the day. But here's the final point. I think with online dating, it's not that you're dating online. It's just an introduction place. It's like having a friend introduce you to someone, and then if you like that person, then you continue. If you don't, you move on. If you look at it from that standpoint and using your common sense, it's pretty safe.
Okay, so if you don't like him or her, for example, do they have to give you feedback to the the Satipa.com?
We ask for feedback.
Okay.
And primarily it's used to match you better in the future.
Okay.
But we also ask feedback, is this person good or not? Is this person complying to our terms and conditions or not? And if we receive enough bad feedback, we will suspend a person. We have the right to just suspend anybody that we feel doesn't contribute positively to the community.
What's normally the main cause of someone, not?
Impatience.
Impatience.
Like one party wants to meet up and the other person's like, oh, let's take it easy. And then they get impatient. Sometimes, you don't get a reply and you're just like really pissed off. I'd like to say that if someone doesn't reply to you, it's your problem, not theirs. Just accept it and move on.
So you can't just ignore them? They have to, after a while, they can lodge a complaint to you, or did you just...
Yeah, I mean, there's always
they can't keep you there for like ever?
No, no.
It's like a contact.
You can't just, meet up and then, okay, I want to get married.
No, please.
Yeah, if you're scared, get out now. But if you're not, let's go. But you can close the match. So if you're introduced to someone, you haven't exchanged contact details, and that person becomes creepy, close the match. That person can't contact you anymore.
Thing ever when
But
the person
they have our phone number for you.
No. Don't exchange phone numbers. In Satipa, talk to them anonymously first through our chat app.
Meet up. Okay.
Before you meet up, no, what I mean is like you're chatting on Satipa, right? For the first time. You're having a conversation. If you like the person enough, you give them your phone number, then you take it outside on your phone and then you call them or WhatsApp. But while you're talking on Satipa, that person, let's say that person becomes creepy, close the match, then they won't be able to contact you anymore. They didn't have your phone number, they haven't had the chance.
They don't know. But what about face? What about your profile, your picture? Is it placed there?
That's very interesting. It's all based on photos. But my suggestion would be to lower your expectations with regards to physical attraction.
They could have just, like Photoshop something, like alter.
They can. And that's why I say lower your expectations.
There or something.
Lower your expectations. When you meet up, talk to the person first. Don't focus too much on the physical attraction. But if they look if you feel like, they're okay, their photo looks okay, they look nice, I kind of like, they look sexy or they look, pretty or handsome, okay, go on a date. You might be disappointed, so lower your expectations. But then when you're on a date, focus on the conversation. Focus on who that person is. Usually, if you have a good conversation, if you get along, they'll become better looking over time.
Oh, that is so true.
Yeah.
And if they're smarter, they are very good looking.
Exactly.
That's a very good point. See, now we know. But in Jakarta itself, what's the dating scene like here?
It's a little bit like in the West now, I think, for middle class and up. I think they're the people that have gone to school abroad, they're coming back, people that watch a lot of TV, movies, they're starting to act like what they see in Hollywood and TV shows. But I think a lot of us, though, in Indonesia are still very traditional. A lot of us still are being matched by our parents, by our friends. A lot of people who are conservative and religious still follow the process that you would follow to get married in the past, which is where you go to the parents, you have a process where you get to know each other within a controlled environment, you make a decision, and then you get married. The one thing that I don't think will change anytime soon is that in Indonesia and in a lot of Asian cultures is that when you get married, it's between two families. In that sense, it's very traditional. So who you choose, and this is about managing stakeholders. Who you choose, you have to decide, will that person get along with my family? Will my family like them? And if they don't, and you still want to be with them, make sure they're worth it, because you're going to have to work. You're going to have to make sure you still want to be part of the family.
And some people say love doesn't have to be that hard, actually.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, but okay. Speaking of your database, is it more inside Jakarta or outside Jakarta?
50% Jabodetabek.
Okay.
So all the area surrounding it, but the other 50% is like mainly big cities across Indonesia. So it really is a map of internet connectivity.
So can you choose, which city you want to find?
We allow you to, but a lot of people in small cities, like we kind of try to push you to be more open-minded. And a lot of our success stories, huge distances. There was one of our first marriages, the guy was working in Papua, in Irian Jaya, met a girl in Jakarta, and so they got married. There's also three couples where the guy was working overseas, Germany, Netherlands, and Australia. So if you're open-minded, it's about finding the person that you'll be happy with.
No, speaking of that, what I'm curious to know is in Indonesia itself, let's say, when you look at the, you can say statistics, right, in satipa.com, when it comes to race, religion, do they actually look for the same type, or are they actually really, that is still,
Well, I mean, the statistics show, well, the data shows that there's only 3 ethnicities that, unanimously almost all the time ask for the same, and it's Batak, Arabs, and Chinese. Those 3 ethnicities, everyone else is pretty much open-minded. Let's say Javanese as well. They're very open-minded, but Jawa Tengah, the middle of Java, they want other Javanese. So you have these like really interesting anomalies everywhere.
How about religion, though?
Yeah.
Religion's interesting. I think the numbers show about 78% of Muslims want other Muslims, and about 45% of Catholics want other Catholics. The other religions are pretty much open-minded with regards to whether or not I'm open to. So, yes, there is a strong preference for it, but I think a lot of the pressure is from family. A lot of pressure is from your community, your environment, where, and if you look at if we look at success rates, if we want to increase the likelihood, and we're talking statistics here, the likelihood of you having a successful long-term relationship, being of the same culture, being of the same religion, increases that immensely.
That's right.
Yeah.
That is all right, yeah.
That's true.
How about the status of, being single or, have been married once, for
Oh,
example?
yeah. That's interesting. People who have been married or have kids and are divorced or looking for someone, they usually want people of their kind. People that haven't gotten married prefer people who haven't gotten married. That's very clear. Yeah.
All right. What about job status? Let's say working,
Interesting.
like positions and all that.
I saw something very interesting, and it's really not about jobs per se. It's about education. The higher, and this is for Indonesia. I don't know about overseas, but the more educated you are, the higher your degree, the more importance. There's a correlation with how important money is, and I think that's an indictment of our education system, where we go to university, we get educated to try and make money. I think there's that sense, and therefore there's this correlation where, why is it that the highly educated people put more stress on the fact that they want someone who is successful?
Okay. And how about your database? Do you actually share them with other, like, have you been
Other such
networking to
matchmaking
other matchmaking industry in
We have
Indonesia?
more on the offline. So online is for online matchmaking, and the algorithm that we build is for the masses. So it's for like the 80% of the people that are just average. In Indonesia, you're either conservative or you're liberal.
Okay.
You're either right wing or left wing, or you're either religious or you're not religious. But there are anomalies there. The 20% who have gone overseas, who are conservative with certain issues and liberal in other issues. They're very hard to matchmake. And therefore, it requires a more direct approach with a consultant, maybe, if they need help, or family, or, but we work with offline matchmakers, where those 20% that we can't matchmake, we offer them, hey, do you want to use these guys? So we do that reference, yeah.
Oh, that's good. So not just, introduction only, but if you need help throughout the way,
Yes.
we can provide that.
So
Exactly.
we should, hey, no, not
We
we.
should.
You should.
Not me. Iyal
and Tasya.
Yeah? Iyal and
I
Tasya.
don't think he's ready.
All right. Now, thank you
Razi, thank you so much.
No worries.
for sharing with us.
My
All right.
pleasure.
A lot of people out there are actually looking forward maybe to finding and going on, probably downloading right now.
Yeah, especially people
Hopefully.
from Jabodetabek.
That's
yeah,
right.
The busy people.
Good luck, everyone.